Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Yamez here with Allen Metal Forge. Hope my audio is coming through. I switched to a different mic today. Here with Allen Metal Forge. Hope my audio is coming through. I switched. And somebody's got an echo.
That was me. Sorry, no, I think maybe it was me. I just had to pause it, but
yeah. Let's roll up the list and say hi. Stephen Parsons in first. How you doing, brother? One of our beloved channel members. Aimless Adventures. Dylan Corwin. Ben Toombs. Transcendental Artist Studios. Metal Blueberries. Paul Orchard. What's up? What's up? Robert Lonis, another channel member. How do? What up, Trail Dust? I know you've been in here longest because you've been in the Discord chat. Mountain Home Forge, Bortagov, Rob Huff. We've got lots of people in early. Wayne Heights, yet another channel member. Yay! Granddad's Forge and Robert Whitney. How do? Yeah. Happy Sunday, everybody. No, you can't switch to another Yamez there, Ben. So today, we'll get to that. Let's move to what did you do this week? What did you do this week? Whoever wants to take off first. Sully.
Yeah, I got worked a few days. It wasn't too awful bad. I had Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. I was actually supposed to be going to Colorado this weekend, but that trip got canceled at the last minute. I was going to load up me and my 3 daughters and my grandson, and we were going to head out to go see my dad up in Trinidad. And last minute that trip got canceled, so I went ahead and took my name off the days off list from Sunday through Wednesday so that I could work if necessary. And so I was only off Friday and Saturday because I had doctor's appointments on Friday. And so, yeah, the rest of the week was just work. It's been hotter than the hinges of Hades out here, 105, 108 every day, and that pretty much sucks. And then, came into town Friday. No, I came into town Thursday. I didn't work Thursday, so I came into town Thursday evening, had my doctor's appointments on Friday, and then me and my younger daughters, my 2 younger ones, we went and watched the Minions Rise of Gru movie, and went and did a little bit of shopping, and then my daughters had a event, shall we say, this yesterday that I attended, and that's it. That's my week in a nutshell, and now I'm here, and
Fun. I want to see that Rise of Gru movie, but I'll wait.
I want to see that movie too.
I'll wait for it to hit the pirate sites.
That and Thor: Love and Thunder. That's the other one I want to see.
Right. I did watch the new Jurassic World movie. I like that. What about you there, Speargrass?
I have done 3 parts of Sweet FA because unfortunately on Monday I had a dental appointment, so that took me out of Monday, and then by Wednesday I come down with the plague. So I got some nasty strain of COVID, and it kept me bedridden from Wednesday to Friday, and then Saturday I was feeling better, but still bad sore throat, cloggy head, muscle aches, and joint aches. And today has been the first day. Sunday has been the first day I've actually been able to get up and do anything. Of course, in Australia, when you catch COVID, you're still required to quarantine for 7 days. So I'm going to be in quarantine and staying at home until Wednesday next week. So unfortunately, been a bit crook, which has put me in a bit of a funk, and kind of had my. Oh, hang on. We've got echo.
I don't hear it on my end.
Yeah, hearing either, but
okay.
Maybe it's in your headphones.
What?
Yeah,
But,
that's weird if you got an echo.
yeah. Hey, Ryan. How you doing? Paul Orchard, hi.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really
Brian
strange because
Hinton.
I've got a proper echo.
Welcome,
so-
Brian.
yeah, Dylan. I said I gave my daughters the choice of watching Love and Thunder or Minions. What was the other one? Oh, the Jurassic World, the Jurassic World one, and they picked Minions. So it was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, the Jurassic World one was a fun movie. You know, people can bash movies all day long. It's almost popular to bash movies, but you know, it's like it's escapism. You know, it's like I like to sit and watch movies. You know, people are bashing on the Jurassic World trilogy, and it's like, yeah, shut up. You know, and it's like I grew up. You know, I think the first movie that I saw in theaters was Jurassic Park when I was a kid, and it's like, oh,
Wow.
hold on. I think,
What? That's Adam popping in and out trying to fix his issue.
yeah, but that sounded like it came out of my TV speaker. That shouldn't happen.
Oh, maybe there's Adam's echo.
So sorry about that, guys. I have no idea what happened there, and I was just frantically closing and opening stuff, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And yeah, I ended up pretty much closing down every single window just to find out what the problem was. But it's fixed now. There's no more echo. Sorry about that.
Right.
The
This
last
just
thing I heard was, yep.
this just in, a $10 super chat from Ryan Sullivan. So Yamas can go watch a movie legally. That might pay for the gas or the diesel for me to get over to the theater.
Right.
Not saying send more, just saying thank you. Also, yard. Not gonna happen.
Damn, fuel prices. How's that going at the moment? Jesus.
No.
Yeah. I've been feeling. I drive 45 minutes every day, 7 days a week to and from work, which is about a quarter of a tank a day in my diesel, and I've got a 70 litre tank. So what's that? Divided by 4, so that's about a 16-gallon tank. So I fill that up about 3 times a week, and it hurts.
I'll tell you what, Ryan. I'll take that $10 after YouTube takes their cut of 30%. So I'll take that $7 and put it into CoinMerge and turn it into $7,000. Or no, it'd be about $7,000 in the next 5 years. So that's what I'll do. You know, I'll take your paper hands money. Sorry. I love you, Ryan.
And then if you're like, well, you know, I had to sell my C merch to send you that super chat.
Yeah, so sorry to hear you got the COVID there, buddy. But we've also got J-Rod in the house. Long time listener, first time caller. No, third time caller. I don't know. So how's your week there?
I'll say for my week, it's been very, very busy. All the projects I've been working on, like still 40+ hour work week. Very, very productive week. Yesterday was very productive as well. I was assisting my dad build a brand new work table for his chop saw, made entirely out of oak and yellow pines. So it was a nice little table that we built. That's about a little shy under 3 feet off the ground. So getting that off is really is a storage cabinet full of wrenches and all that rolls, like giving something a little more stable when he's doing his chop work. But other than that, it's been a very productive week, and it's just a good day to be alive. Like blue skies, sunny, a little bit of breeze in the background. Like it's just a nice day all around.
Right. Right. Me, I'm glad y'all asked.
Yamez, how was your week? What do you got going on?
Well, I didn't have a 40-hour work week like others. I think I only had like a 30-hour work week. But super, super productive. So as a lot of you guys know, I separate my yard into three areas. I got the front yard, which is a septic field, which is always clean as a whistle, except for, when the tourists throw trash out when they're driving on the highway and I got to go out and pick it up. There's a bunch of, empty bags of ice out there. Then I got the mid yard, which has been a travesty for the past couple of years. It's had the temp poles, as most of you guys know about, the electrical temp poles and a broke down work van and, piles of junk and overgrown brush and freaking well pump pipes and this and that and everything else, just generally unusable. And then I have my back 40, my backyard, and that is a veritable jungle of trees and tires and camper shells. I'm still working on that. But my mid yard, it's finally clear. We got the van moved, the work van moved. We got all the temp poles down. We've got the electrical line running down, and I've got it going underground to my shop, split into two panels, and then one panel, or one disconnect goes to the house. All that fun stuff. I've been working on that for a while, and all I've got left now for that is some general cleanup, like sweeping up and cleaning off the pad. I've got to take a flat shovel and clear off, cut the grass over the years, the pad has gotten smaller and smaller with growth. So I've got to clear that back and get a pressure washer on it. Look into pumping it up so that it's back to level. And, but I mean, I could use my mid yard now. It's great. Having that cleared out, planning on a big old freaking gumball tree drop. Yeah. That was an interesting and fun week. Every day after work, get off a little early, toss in a couple of hours, working on that. It's been hot, so it's been a struggle, but it's clearing up. It is currently raining its butt off again. But yeah, obviously not a lot of time in the shop, but plenty of time to get other stuff done. Got a headache today that just won't quit. We're going to see how that plays out. If it does not go away by this afternoon, I will likely see if Sully can take my place tonight or this evening for my forging live stream. And it would still be on this channel, and any super chats that go to it go to Sully, of course. I would like to I would like to go live. I have some things that I need to work on out there, but it's just pounding on steel and working in a shop with this kind of a headache. It's just what's up, Paul Fontanini? What's up, Hubcap? Brian Hinton, morning. Anybody else new? Did I miss anybody? Yeah, but yeah. So that's that's kind of been my week, was just yard work and dealing with the weather. Not much to. I wish I could say, oh yeah, I was out there and I forged, another octopus. And it's beautiful. And here, look.
Yeah, it's okay to take a break.
Uh-oh. That sounds like the topic of the week.
It is the topic of the week, funnily enough. No, but seriously,
tell us more. Tell us more about taking breaks. I really like to know about this.
Great segue. That was smooth, wasn't it? Look at that transition. That's how we professionals do it.
It's almost like we're professionals.
I professional a lot of things, but yeah, being actual professional. Okay, so but seriously though, it's actually okay to take a break, particularly from any hobby, but especially from blacksmithing. in today's culture, we've been taught, and it's been programmed into us that to always hustle. But constantly hustling isn't healthy, and there's many reasons why you need to take a break from a hobby, especially one that can be as demanding as blacksmithing. So let's dive into reasons why why you might need to take a break, and some tips to help make a break as restorative and helpful as possible, and also how to deal with things when you're actually in a funk, when you've taken a break and you're not able to break out of that mindset and just get back into it, which is actually a position I was in not long ago, and some of the things that I've done in order to get back into it, or start to move towards getting back into it as well. So particularly this first one's particularly for those of you that are new to the hobby, or within your first 12 months or so. So you've started a new hobby and you're having a hard time fitting it into your regular routine. Then this also applies to you guys that have perhaps changed your routine, gone into some major changes happen in your life, and you've gone into a changed routine. So you were excited to start in blacksmithing, excited the creativity would unleash, and the stress of it, the stress relief it would bring, and maybe even the possibility of a future side income. So if you're getting into this hobby for a side income, I don't recommend it. Get to know what you're actually doing first. But there is a possibility always in the future. But between juggling work, life, and maybe even other existing side hustles, you've come to realize that you actually haven't given blacksmithing as much time as you wanted, or even any time at all. Maybe your expectations haven't lived up to reality, or maybe you need more supplies and are waiting on them. So adding something new to a routine can take some time to stick. So try adding it to your schedule. Make a little block in your planner or calendar, or set aside some specific time for you to do you and have a time to do some smithing. So I like to, as a general rule of thumb, do 2 hours, because that gives you time to get your forge lit, whether that's gas, or solid fuel, let it heat up, get your stuff together that you need to work with, and then start on a little project. So Saturday morning is a good time, or even right now, Sunday morning, as you listen to the podcast, you can have it playing in some headphones where you got your phone in your pocket, and listen to us nattering away whilst you swing a hammer at some work. There's a reason why sometimes we call it Sunday church, guys. But what if you've already done that and you're still having a trouble getting out there and hitting it? So how can you make it easier to add this into your schedule? So suddenly adding something in every day can to an already busy schedule will be hard to implement. So considering cutting back on the number of days you've got devoted to blacksmithing, or if you really want to get started, you're going to have to make a compromise, maybe cut back on something else. If you go play golf for 5-6 hours on a Saturday morning, maybe go play 9 holes instead of 18. You're only out there for 3, you come back, you spend two hours, swinging a hammer and making something, getting out the stress relief. But also have a backup plan. So if, sometimes things go sideways. For example, Yamez has got a ringing headache today, and he might not be able to get out there into his workshop and do something. But he's got a backup plan, in the sense that he's not going to do something today, but he might get out there later on in Monday, Tuesday, when he's feeling a bit better in the evening, to get something done just because he feels like doing it. So having a little bit of leeway in plans like this is also a good thing. Another thing you can also do is I have a common saying of, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer to that is one bite at a time. So maybe you aren't able to get out there and swing a hammer and make a full-size project. Okay, so go out there, make a couple of leaves. And then you've got some leaves, or you've got some handles that you've already made. Sit down and sand them, or file, do a little bit of filing or something. making a handle for, you know, the fire poker or the flipper that you've already made. You know, do a little bit of woodwork. So some of those things, you're putting handles on your hammers or preventative maintenance of your tools. They're all the things that need to be done from time to time. And realize that new routines can take some time to take hold. Take a breath, think about how you can adapt to this new hobby, and decide what's reasonable and beneficial for you. Even if it's not as good or as much time as you want, a
Right.
start is a start, and that's good.
Right.
So sometimes, yeah, you're also so busy, life just gets in the way of hobbies and creative outlets. I'd be lying if say if sometimes I didn't decide to watch an extra episode of Doctor Who instead of getting out there and swinging a hammer. But also, another thing to do is being intentional about engaging activities, even to the extent of booking classes. So, as you are forcefully making time and commitment to someone else to engage in smithing, so making it that forces you to set a time and stick to it. So, for example, if you do a course through your local guild or through another smith to, you know, learn how to make tongs, for example, you're setting aside, say, 4 hours on a Sunday to go and do this class. That's a great, and particularly if it's over a couple of weeks, that's a great way to get into a habit of setting aside that time to for you to do your hobby, for you to do this hobby, because you at first you're committing that time and a little bit of money, which, you know, makes that time a little bit more valuable to go and do something, and then you can, you know, then from that you're already in the habit of setting aside that time, which makes it easier to slot into your regular schedule as you finish those classes, go back into your normal life. So that's another thing that you can do. Now, the next thing, of course, is sometimes life gets in the way. Sometimes shit happens. So you say you've been happily swinging a hammer and making things for 2, 6, 12 months, or, you know, even a couple of years. Then suddenly something throws your normal schedule out of whack and you're struggling to keep up. So this might be something big and life-changing, like, for example, me moving house and not having a workshop to work in. And it could be something as simple as, you know, your kid's graduation, you know, a wedding or something like that you have to travel for. So something small that might throw it out as well. So sometimes things have to be put on the back burner, and usually, as particularly if it's smithing, if you're a hobbyist, as it's behind the scenes, you don't have a deadline to anyone but you, and, you know, it's not bringing in you money or anything like that. So it's okay. You have to deal with responsibilities when things get rough and decide what takes priority, what needs to take a pause. So by focusing on dealing with what needs to be done, you can rearrange your goals and plans and figure out, and well, for this, while you figure out what's going on in your life, make sure you're getting as much sleep as you can, and you're practicing self-care, because, you know, a lot of us use smithing as an outlet for stress relief, for you know, an outlet for just being able to quiet our minds, and so, you know, you've also, whilst you can't do this hobby and you're taking that break, you know, it's important that you maintain other self-care activities in order to look after yourself, because, you know, I might not know you personally straight up, and I'm talking to the people in the community, but I care about you. I want you to be okay. It's one of the reasons why I love, you know, I love being involved in you know, the Impractical Blacksmiths, because I care about you guys. And, you know, if something I do or something I experience can help you guys, I want to share that so that you guys know, have one more tool in your toolbox in to help you get through these. So again, finding smaller activities that you can do to help maintain your you know, this hobby whilst you're facing your big issues, but might not require as much time, can help alleviate that stress. But also, you know, being involved in the community, you know, watching YouTube videos can help you, you know, feel like you're doing something when you're not, you know, when you're not actively creating something, even insofar as making designs or making plans. So one of the things I'm doing at the moment, is I've actually designed like a, we all know about what a drive hook is. I've actually designed in my head and a little bit on paper a drive hook to hang a hurricane lantern off so I can burn mosquito coils for my upcutting wedding. I'm going to hammer them into trees because I can't find anything like that online. So it's like, well, I'll design it, but that's also helped me, kick back into that motivation of getting things done as well. But that also deals with the next thing. Sometimes you have creative block, when you just can't think of something to do, and we've
Right.
all been there. Sometimes, and Yames is, notorious for this, the half-finished project that just doesn't get done.
That's my curse. I have so many ideas and I start them and then I get like that whole elephant analogy. It's like how to eat an elephant. Well, just grab a fork and a knife and eat it one bite at a time. It's like I'll start a project and like I'll get in this back of my mind, like especially when I do it for a show, like I'll get in this back of my mind, like, oh, I worked on that last week. I can't really do it again this week, And it's like then I set it aside and it'll be weeks or months or years. Tactical spatula, before I get back to it,
Yeah.
So
Or what you did with the with that jellyfish, how you started it and then it sat on your bench for a while and it was like you just couldn't figure out how to finish it until you got people involved and people were throwing ideas at you. You're kind of like, and then you kind of had that mishmash of ideas, you smashed them all together and something worked out really fantastically. So that's actually one method of dealing with that. When you have creative block, approach people. Talk to people in the community, talk to, and I've done it myself, where I've particularly back when I was at the old workshop, I would talk to people like Yames and Alex and some of the other misfits, some of that's like and I say misfits, of course, with the greatest of love, and I'm talking to people that are in a particular chat group that I'm part of, which is like Aimless Adventure and Granddads, we're misfits. So I'd approach them with a particular issue I was having, and I would get feedback on how to fix these or how to get around the issues that I was having. And that can be everything from why isn't your forge getting hot enough to Forge World to, hey, I've stuck on this artistic idea and I don't know how to do it. So, and then of course, reaching out the community and reaching out to your favorite content creators, like Yames or Roy Adams or any of them, and saying, hey, this is I'm having a struggle with this technique. Can you do a video on how to do it? Or having a look through their back catalog on techniques, certain techniques and stuff like that. A great one is the alligator twist that Yames did a couple of years ago now.
Oh God.
But yeah, and I recently went and had a look at that because someone brought it up about doing something like that at a show I was at not long ago. So so these are things that you can do to get over that. Another thing is walk away, put down that project or that thing that you're working on, and again, it's okay to take a break, go for a drive, give it a few days, give it a month, leave that project and start something new. It could be as innocuous as you're sitting down and you're watching the forecast or you're watching a live stream from one of the other content creators that is a massive part of our community, and they do something and you go, oh, and you have that eureka moment where you can go, I can do that or something like that for my project, and then you can go back to it. It's okay. Unless you're making money from it, there's no time limit on when you guys got to finish your projects, unless of course you've set a time limit, and we'll get to that in a minute. So another thing to help, break yourself out of a funk another thing to say it's okay to have a break is if you're particularly planning for a stressful time. So sometimes, like I said before, sometimes shit happens and all of a sudden we can't plan ahead for it. But that's not always true. So sometimes there might be a massive project at work coming up. You have family, particularly the in-laws, coming to town. Your partner is having a busy week, or there's something else major happening. As much as blacksmithing can help relieve stress, sometimes we can get so far into our own heads that it can actually cause stress for us because we're worried about getting stuff done. I know Yamas, and I can talk about this because I was one of the ones that helped Yeah, I mean, a couple of months, about what, 6 months ago, when you were having a great stress about, doing your Saturday shows and, or doing your Wednesday shows. It was like, dude, it's your show, move it, And do you remember?
I do. I
So,
remember.
so yeah, so this is again, this is your hobby. This is you aren't. It's not so stuck into things that you have to maintain. The solid set period. You can change it. You can make adaptations to it, and sometimes taking a step back from it is good because it's going to help you face other stuff in your life that's more important.
Yeah.
Even though we all love this hobby, sometimes other stuff has to come first.
With
But also,
I was gonna
go
say
ahead.
with that note about bringing up when like other life stuff and discussing like when me and you had that discussion where and to the audience that I really don't think you guys realize how close it came to this channel being gone or the live streams being done. It's like what was this about a year ago?
Yeah,
I
about a
had
year ago.
it's just life was coming at me from so many different directions. I was so busy. I had so much going on, and it was like something has got to give. And it was just it went from I love doing my live streams. I love being on YouTube and talking with you guys and interacting and all this stuff. And it was coming to a point where I was dreading going live because either I was so exhausted or it was like, I'd get done with one thing and it's like, oh, dang, I have half an hour to set up the camera, set up the stream, come up with a topic, get the forge lit, and it was just overwhelming me. And it was like, I got to stop it, and it's like I spoke with Adam, and I believe I spoke with you, Sully, on it too, about ending the show, and the discussion came up, it's like, well, it's your show, it's like you can shift the schedule to fit you, and it's like, so I switched it. That was when I went to Wednesdays, I believe.
Correct.
Just a
Yeah.
middle of the week thing, where I didn't really have anything going on except for work, and then again I got so busy with work to where hey, I'm going to be working until 5-6 o'clock at night. I had to do it again, and that's what brought us to Sundays. And Sundays I kind of have allotted to where I don't do anything. I would do my morning stream and then, idle stuff, either it would like, cause Saturdays I'm just usually slam packed from, dusk to dawn or, whatever. and just busy. And so Sundays, Sundays became the day.
It went from Saturdays because originally it was on Saturdays, and then you had the flea markets, I guess, or whatever you was doing, and then trying to get in from that, and then set up for the stream. It was just you've been out in the heat all day long, and you're just whooped. And so let's go to Wednesdays. Well, then Wednesdays, you got so slammed with work and between that and Windfall and all that, and finally it's just like, I don't know what to do. I just there's just no time for a stream, and I don't remember who brought it up. But it's like, you don't do crap on Sundays except for the the morning show. I mean, what about a Sunday? And and that's where we are now. And I think that in your case, that was
The best option.
a very good solution to a problem that was just basically going to get worse.
Yeah, and a little bit more to his point too about the taking the break and real life hitting. As most of you know, I haven't done a video like a recorded and edited video in well over 2 or 3 years. It's got to be over 2 years And that's not for a lack of wanting to do them. I want to do editing. I'd love to be able to do a video a week, but to record or to set up a project, record the project, then edit the project, that alone is a full-time job. Add on top of that, fighting YouTube's algorithm, working on the SEO, working on the marketing side of getting the videos out there. That is another full, like, you know, it's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that nobody really sees. And on top of that, being a full-time electrician, on top of that, you know, well, this past year, I mean, this doesn't really affect it because, you know, it's not a factor, but, you know, it's like keeping up with and learning cryptos and NFTs and stuff for the business plan I have moving forward. It's just there's a lot behind the scenes that keeps me from sitting and editing a video for a couple of hours. So
And see, and with that, right? That's particularly on that side of things. Like I didn't do very many live streams myself, but mine were edited videos. And one of the things about that is I've tried to make a deadline to come back to it because inertia is sometimes our biggest aid, but it's also our biggest enemy. So you know I've got that. I haven't made a video in over 12 months now. And you know, so I've got to restart and get myself back into the habit of making videos and doing the editing and all that type of thing. So that once I get into the habit of doing it, it becomes easier. And the longer that we don't do a habit, the harder it is to get the ball rolling in. So sometimes it's a double-edged sword. No pun intended. But
right.
you know, sometimes the goal is to reduce the effect of slowing down. So this might mean working on, you know, something only once a week. So like Yamez has done, rather than doing the edited videos and the live streams, you just cut back to just doing a live stream once a week, or planning a day, you know, where you know, we might have done it 3 or 4 times a week, only doing it once. Planning a day as soon as possible after the stressful time is done to get back into it and hold yourself accountable to it as well. So the next thing, of course, is your mental health. Your mental and physical health, or both, sometimes need immediate attention. So this is something that I deliberately left off the other list because there's a couple of people in the community that I've taken inspiration from because of what they've done to combat this. And I'll get to that in a second. But sometimes there's no warning, or you fail to see the signs, and suddenly you're in the thick of a health crisis and you need to take a break now and dealing with it now. Your health is important, and you won't be able to finish any sort of work if you break yourself, or you get yourself into a mental position where things are just bad. We don't want that for you. We care about you. You're our community. You're the people that make, for me particularly, make this part of this work worthwhile. Whether you're subscribers of mine and your fans, or your friends, or you're someone I've never even interacted with, but you're passionate about this hobby and passionate about this craft, I care about you.
Yeah.
You're part of my people. So you know, I care about that. So your health is important, and if something goes wrong, whether it's mental health or physical health, you know, the first thing, you should seek professional help if you can. You know, I know it can be difficult to get any sort of healthcare appointments quickly, whether that's you know, going to a doctor or going to a mental health specialist. But look into what resources are available on short notice and reach out to a crisis line if necessary. Also, reach out to trusted friends or family. You know, talk to your brothers in blacksmithing or sisters in blacksmithing, your family in blacksmithing. If you know, reach out to family, your actual immediate family and trusted friends. The right people can help you recover from anything, and that's not just only mental health things. You know, reaching out to people when you have physical health problems as well. Sometimes there's mates out there that, you know, will give you the shirt off their back to help you get through things. And I really hope you are with a group of people that do that. Sometimes that's not the way it goes, and I appreciate that as well. But don't be afraid to drastically shift your plans and goals to accommodate that time to heal. You know, if you, for example, and this is something that's pertinent to me, with COVID in 2019, 2020, I was due to come to the US. I had the money and I was really excited to come to the US and visit all of you guys and come to Quad State and all that type of stuff. COVID happened, and that happened around the world. That kind of put me into a funk then because I was so excited for coming to and visiting that, I had all this money and that's why I ended up buying this place and I'm in the process of setting myself up. But, things can happen on a dime that just change your world. Now, one person I really take inspiration for their ability to adapt and take things in their stride is the squad father, Mr. John Coffey himself, who was forced to stop smithing for a while due to reasons, but he's been easing himself back into things by remaining active in the community, because you always see him pop up in the chat and that type of thing. But he's also doing complementary hobbies like woodworking and I'm fortunate enough to actually have him follow him on certain social media. So he does wood turning and does bowls and stuff like that, which is a complementary, turning handles and all that type of stuff. But also does painting. So he does painting saw blades and which is another form of art and creative outlet. So these are things that he loves to do anyway, but he did smithing more often. So now that he had to take some time away from smithing, he was able to cover that gap by doing some complementary or some creative hobbies that helped cover that gap. So it doesn't all have to always be about this community. You can still be active in this community whilst taking a break.
Mm-hmm.
Now, another thing is dealing with Anhedonia. Now, Anhedonia is otherwise known as that meh, or I'm just not feeling it. It's not quite depression, but it's that meh, that meh feeling. And everyone, if you know what I'm talking about, if you felt it, you know what I'm talking about. And so the actual name for it is Anhedonia, as opposed to hedonism, so Anhedonia. Okay, so it's a loss of interest in what was previously rewarding or enjoyable activity. So this not only applies to blacksmithing, it's a loss. That can be a loss of interest in anything from your passions to friends, family, work, school, food, so on. So it's one of the main symptoms of a major depressive disorder, which experts believe has to do with the depression's impact on the pleasure circuits of the brain. Now, what to do? You miss your hobbies and you know the positive effects of engaging in blacksmithing and other hobbies, and your passions have a broad impact on your physical and mental health. When you're not doing them, it can make you feel as bad as, you feel bad for not doing them as much as not doing them is, unhealthy for you. So you can wait around for the spark return, or you can do a few things to help get some results and get yourself back into it as well. So this is what's coming when you're already in that funk and how to come out of it. So you said taking a break is one thing, but sometimes you've taken a break, you're in a funk, and you're trying to boost yourself out of that rut. So there's a difference. So firstly of all, ask yourself, does this feel like you're disinterested, or does it feel like you're avoiding the task, or avoiding blacksmithing, or avoiding the hobby, or whatever you're doing? So there's a difference between a lack of interest in an activity and all an out and outright avoidance. So if you're not sure which one you're experiencing, ask yourself this. When you're thinking about doing blacksmithing or any other activity, do you experience a lack of feeling, or do you experience strong negative feelings? So if blacksmithing brings up negative feelings, then you might assume that it's because it's linked to something traumatic, sad, disappointing, or undesirable. Perhaps smithing is connected to sad memories because it was something you used to share with a loved one that's passed. And I know this is actually pertinent to a couple of people in our community. But also maybe you're concerned that when you start up again, you'll fail or do poorly, or your results will be judged by others. And that's particularly something for us that participate on YouTube and have taken a break and are coming back to it. It's something that that's one thing I was struggling with. But take some time to think about what your roadblock might be, and then perhaps brainstorm some ways to get around it. The next thing is a mantra that come from an old job of mine, which is do it now. Don't think about people think that you get motivation and then you do something. Motivation actually comes from doing comes after you start something. So if you start something, then you get motivation to continue doing it. So
That's
go ahead.
that's one of my big problems when I go out to clean my shop is when I get the most motivated to do other things.
So Anne Lamont, in her preeminent book Bird by Bird: Some Instructions on Writing and Life, advisors want to be writers. You try to sit down at approximately the same time every day. This is how you train your unconscious to kick in for you creatively. So you sit down and say at 9 every morning or 10 every night, you put a piece of paper in the typewriter and you turn on the computer and you bring up the right file and you stare at it for an hour or so. This is good advice for any creative endeavor, whether it's journaling, photography, painting, drawing, blacksmithing, or whatever. Make a habit of doing it whenever possible. And that could be something as simple as drawing designs or brainstorming things that you want to do. And this is something I used to do, and I got out of the habit of doing it, of trying to get back into it. Writing down, just having a notebook and writing down ideas of things I want to try. And I had a book, pages upon pages upon pages, no particular order of things I wanted to try. And that also gives me that time when I have that brain fart and I don't have anything to do and I can't think of something to start. I can open up that booklet and go, okay, random pick. There's something for me to start. Now, a popular daily project among photographers is a 365-day project where a person takes a photo every day for a year. So there's dedicated Flickr groups and Instagram hashtags for the 365 project. And it isn't just for photographers. There's a artist by the name of Brian Lewis Saunders who drew a self-portrait every day for a year. So if you're not up for doing the 365 project, or particularly blacksmithing where we can't, doing a 365 projects, particularly day, is a very big ask. Consider a 30-day challenge. If you particularly, and especially if you have a group of friends that might want to encourage and take part of it as well, or another idea is taking part of one of the fantastic challenges by our great friends over at the Forgecast, Sam and Alex. They do a monthly or sometimes bi-monthly challenge, or weekly challenge where you can take part in that, and that's something to help. It's something to help you get motivated as well. Now, another thing, which I personally can't do, but other people can, is joining a club or finding a hammering buddy. Now, engaging in the blacksmithing community with people who also enjoy the activity has multiple benefits. First, it forces you to show up just like a class, unless you have to go through the trouble of cancelling on your buddy or no showing on people, which most people don't like to do. The second is those who share similar interests can provide you with the motivation, inspiration, and encouragement to get back on track, even sometimes competition. There are usually blacksmithing groups near you, and if you don't think there is, reach out to the community and online forums. You'll be surprised. Like a lot of us started off this hobby thinking that we were isolated. And then we get into the community and find out we're not. Even people aren't online. Like I did a show about a month or so ago. It was a local agricultural show, and I did a little setup there and was hammering away. And the amount of people that come up to me and goes, "I didn't know there was a blacksmith up here. I'm so interested in getting started," or "I'm a knife maker, and these are knife makers I didn't even know exist up here." And so doing something like that can sometimes get you exposure and get other people that are interested or in and around you. So keep that in mind. Now, but particularly if you're in the US, most places in the US do have some sort of local blacksmithing guild in your general area. Is it Abana that has a list of blacksmithing guilds around the US there, Yames?
Pardon? Sorry, I was reading the chat.
That's all right. I was just saying, is it Abana that has the
Abana
has the list of the local guilds around America?
Yeah, Abana. They don't have a guild list of every single guild because not every single guild is affiliated with Abana. I believe my guild, the Tidewater Blacksmiths Guild, is affiliated. Most are, because that lends an air of legitimacy to them. which personally I don't feel is needed, uh, because if I were to start a guild if I were to find out that like a whole bunch of my neighbors were interested in it, and I were to start a guild around here where, hey guys, let's come meet over at my shop and let's hammer some stuff out each week, and do kind of like a blacksmiths co-op in my area. I'd call ourselves a guild, but would I reach and strive to become recognized by Abana? Not necessarily. I mean, not that I wouldn't, but also not necessarily. So I'm sure if you were to look in your area, like look, go to Google or go to Facebook or whatever, and blacksmiths, search this area, within 50 miles or within whatever, drivable distance, you can find something,
That's right.
So it's like, but a good place to start, is the Abana lists, and that's the American Blacksmiths Artists, or no, Artist Blacksmiths. I don't know. it's something with Artist Blacksmith North America.
The Blacksmiths Association of North America.
North America, yeah, that's right. I forgot the word association.
Okay, so that's
Isn't
What was
sorry,
that?
is it artisanal?
Huh?
I was just wondering, is it artisanal blacksmith?
It might be
Association North America?
artisanal. I don't know.
basically look like ABANA, and you should be able to find it.
Yeah, ABAN.
But anyway, guys. The next one, of course, is volunteer or teaching. So sometimes you've reached a point where you want to share your skills and you need to put them to good use. So considering volunteering your skills for local charities, churches, schools, clubs, non-for-profits, community centres, showing blacksmiths to the local Boy Scouts is a great way to do it. But consider this carefully, because although it may be the exact opportunity you're looking for, many people find an activity becomes less fun when it's something they feel they have to do. But this can also bring you back to the basics. So trying to remember what it is you loved about your passion and about blacksmithing in the first place. So this can cause you to look back on yourself when you first started, you first fell in love with this hobby, looking back at your early work and reconnecting with who you were then. It's also great to create and engage like a newbie, playing with the rules, breaking the rules, making new mistakes, but also going back to those fundamental skills and improving those basic skills can also be a great thing as well, because it gives you a chance to clean up on your tapers, on your flattening, on your spreading, on your upsetting, on your twists, on your cutting and all that type of thing, and it only serves to make you a better smith all round.
Yeah.
So finally, last two things is choose a special project or enter a contest or juried show. So a project that incorporates a special memory, a birthday project, or a milestone anniversary project, or some people get the motivation for a competition, whether it's a national contest like Quad State for the best sculpture or newbie sculpture or whatever. Another time it's a local guild competition, or it's a 48-hour dagger challenge. If you're a knife maker, something like that gives you a challenge and a focus or a goal outlined, and you're free to execute as you like from there. So sometimes, particularly with something like a dagger challenge, it gives you a stringent outline, and hey, you can compete in it like you're in Forged in Fire if you really like to, or or doing an artistic one like that jellyfish. The jellyfish sculpture that Yamez started, and they ended up entering it into Quad State. So these are things that you can do to help break out of your funk as well. So finally, just to reiterate, it's okay to take a break, and it's okay to come back. It's okay to take a little longer to figure out how to implement blacksmithing into your schedule, whether the activity is new or a life change. It's okay when life gets in the way. It's okay to have a break and know that you can come back when and where you can. It's okay to have a backup plan and go to restorative practices to help you adapt when things don't go according to plan. if you do have any followers or customers, etc., and try to inform them of the break and delay and when you can plan to be back, as this might be shutting down your shop or announcing on a website or blog that you won't be posting as regularly, or elongating expected time in needed to complete a project. But at the end of the day, you are a person, and your circumstances are individual. We want you to be okay, and it's okay to take a break, and it's okay to come back with a different perspective. But just as valid is, sometimes life happens and you have to walk away, and that's okay too. We want you to stay in the community, and if you're not smithing anymore and you can't smith anymore, that's okay too. We still want you here because you might have done something that, when you were smithing, that could add a perspective or help out someone new. Uh, because at the end of the day, we're all going to break down eventually, and we're all going to get to the point where we can no longer smith. But what's in here can still help out other people. So even if you can't smith anymore, you don't feel like smithing anymore, I hope you stick around, because we love you and we want you here.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was a mouthful. you just spoke nearly uninterrupted for 45 minutes.
Wow.
I know you had 11 pages.
Yeah, that was a rather long one.
Yeah. Me and Sully have been chatting in the chat, to get our interaction filled.
Right.
I actually didn't pay attention to the chat because I was too busy doing.
Yeah.
So.
But
we
yeah,
were just kicking the chat just because, I mean, hey, I don't want to stop at him just to read a comment. So
yeah, you were on a roll, and all good things, all good, good conversational points. All good information. When you bare bones it, it's like, if you overwork yourself, if you overdo it, you end up hating what you love. And if you don't kind of fall to that, it's like good on you. I could blacksmith. I could be out there in the workshop all day. If I had the time. There's only a handful of times where, and a lot of you guys have seen it. There's only a handful of times where it's just, be out there working on something and just get so frustrated I just can't do anything anymore. But that's less of a motivation and more of a, dang it, I know this works. I've done this before. Why isn't it doing it now? Get out of the heat, take a break.
I think one thing that no one ever broaches either is the old saying, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I don't think that's true, because sometimes, something you love can become a job, can become, tired and dreary when that's all you've got. I mean, when you're hyper focused on something, you lose perspective of everything else. Sometimes that becomes a stress. So being able to take that break and step back and do other stuff, or having to force yourself to break, is sometimes a good thing. But before someone said about me going on a Roy rant, what did the chat have to say about things whilst I was in that epic monologue?
the chat was really all over the place. I mean, it was, just a little of this, a little of that. Discussing the podcast and where you can find it, and things like that. So that's all. That's always important to interact with when the subject comes up.
Yeah.
And I wanted to add in, as far as like being in a funk, taking a break. I mean, as most everybody here would know, I mean, I haven't done squat in almost 2 years. As far as edited videos, maybe 2 or 3. I mean, just because, I mean, I got my reasons. I've videoed a whole lot, but when I get to editing, I'm like, no, I'm not doing it, and I just put everything in file 13 and call it good. But even when it comes to like the blacksmithing part, I want to say I mean, like, let's just go with this year. I mean, we're halfway through the year right now, and I have maybe fired up a forge and done something 4 times. And it's not like I'm when the weather's nice and I'm like, hey, heck yeah, I'll get out there and do something. When the weather's nice, I just can't think of a thing to do. Now, and I'm like, well, I need to do this and I need to do that. Yeah, I don't want to build that crap right now. And then I wind up just not doing it, and getting sidetracked with Minecraft for 14 hours. And
Yeah.
that's been really, really difficult. Because now it's hotter. It's 105, 108 outside, not in my shop, just outside, and I don't have really very good airflow, so it's considerably hotter inside. And now I'm just like, man, I'd really like to go build this, but it's not worth dealing with the heat. And so I wind up having this like 3-month window where the weather is conducive to actually spending a fair amount of time in the forge in one day. And what it seems to me like is when the weather is great for it, I'm just not in the mood. And I don't know. It's really weird. And I mean, I don't really know what to do about that. Now, like I said, if Yamez can't go live tonight, I will. I'm gonna relocate everything out to the shop and fire up the forge, open the doors as best I can, get a fan going, and I know what I'm gonna build already. I've got a piece that goes to my tire chains on my big truck in the back of my pickup that is broken, and I cannot get a piece to that chain or that particular piece unless I order it from Canada. So I'm just going to forge it. And so that's what I'll be doing if I need to go live for Yamez. And if I don't need to go live for Yamez, I'm going to do it late this evening after it cools off. So either way, I'm going to get that done tonight.
Yeah.
And I wanted to add, I have a very special video coming up in about 2 months, maybe. I actually just ordered the material for it. I'm really not going to get into it more than that, but it's going to be really neat, and it's also going to be a topic. So
yeah, it's going to be a topic for the show and a topic for the podcast and all that fun stuff.
And no one can get any hints out of me because I've got no idea.
What's that?
I said no one can get any hints out of me because I've got no idea.
Right. And we probably haven't discussed it personally, but I know me and Yamez have been talking about it for probably a year and a half. Yeah. And I don't know why, but I've just been putting it off, and so it's. Like I said, I don't want to spoil the surprise because it's going to be interesting for sure, and yeah.
I can pretty accurately say this: the specific project that he is speaking about has never, ever been done, at least on YouTube, So it will be a one-of-a-kind original idea for a YouTube blacksmith.
Right, and these projects, that's what I really strive for, is doing something I haven't seen, at least. And a lot of what I do, like in my videos, I don't sit down and watch a video about, okay, how do I do this? How do I do it? I would rather just think about it in my head and try to figure out how I, like when I built the treadle hammer, I didn't watch a video on how to build a treadle hammer. I just, okay, this is what I have. What do I do? And so I like to come up with original ideas that haven't been done. Like when I made the beverage pail for the shower, or when I built the CD bracket for my big truck. I mean, like, I like to build things that nobody else has really done, and if somebody else has done it, I mean, other than if it's one of those community challenge things, I do enjoy doing those. But if it's not a community challenge, I don't really want to make a video about something that everybody else has already done. I mean, I find that to be drab, and I mean, like, who wants to watch me make a leaf when there's 346 videos on making a leaf in one heat, and it takes me 10. But Yeah, this my next project that's going to come out is gonna um, that's gonna be pretty awesome.
Right. We'll we'll,
Awesome.
t- we'll tell you what it is after the show and everything, Adam.
Yes.
Now everybody's gonna jump in the channel and try to listen in for a sneak peek. We'll
We'll just have to go to the private conversation there, Yams. But I mean, but that's good, and that's a perfect example of okay, to a certain degree, like I can see where you come from there, Sally. I haven't made a video myself in over 12 months, and for reasons, like life just happens, and sometimes life smacks you up the side of the head and says, "Oi, you got to do other shit first." But so and that's happened for multiple people of us over the last couple of years. Things have happened. So you finding that passion to get those materials and get that special project, that's awesome. That's great. Oh, that's cool. I'm excited because it's happening, even though I don't. And I hope that people in the community are too, even though I don't know what's happening yet. And even if I didn't know what was happening, I'm excited because it's like, oh, okay, something cool's happening. I like coolness. So yeah, anyway, that's just
Well,
me. I don't.
right, yeah. And I remember, I think one of the last videos I did was extracting platinum via hydrochloric acid leaching and bleach leaching out of DPF filters. And like, I only did part one. And I mean, like, literally, I mean, that's been well over a year ago. And I mean, like, all of that acid is sitting in gallon jugs in my shop, still loaded with platinum. And I have never gone. I've never extracted the platinum. I've never gone to the next step. I mean, the acid's not done. There's not enough platinum in it to be loaded. So, I wasn't going to process it until it's done. And I've got like 6 more DPF filters to do. And I mean, it's a project that got put on the back burner. I mean, like, God, I'm hoping the plastic jugs don't like rot and leak the acid out before I get around to extracting the platinum out of them. But it's just one of those. It was a neat project that I thought of at the time, and I was like, hey, this is going to be a neat little video series, and yeah. One video and a week later, a week later, and I was just like, nah, I just don't have time for this right now. And so I got halfway through the project, and it just.
That's it.
This next one though is not going to be a multi-part project. Really, it's just a one-time one-off, and it'll be great.
So I said before that I was scrolling back through the comments and having a bit of a read and catching up. So there's 2 comments I really want to address, particularly about getting out of a funk and stuff like that. So there was a comment by Xavier. I've lost it now. There, Xavier Sontag. So he's in a funk right now because his small work shed burnt down and he doesn't know how to occupy himself or get himself set up again. Again, one bite at a time. My suggestion, what I would personally do, and I'm actually kind of in the process of doing myself, is rebuilding a workshop. I've got a 3x3 meter space. I've actually got the post set in the ground. Part of this week, I started a couple of months ago. I had to put it on hold because of the wedding planning, but I intend to finish it, and I've also got to put my other workshop up. It's just a couple of poles, going to have a roof on it. It's kind of like a lean-to but a standalone lean-to, just so I've got something to work underneath to start again. Sometimes little steps like that can be what it's about. The other one I saw was where is it? Just a second. Honeydew Projects Cutting Into Your Forge Time by Aaron Dennis. Now, Aaron, I have a day for my honeydew projects. So my missus turns around and goes, okay, can you do this, and this? I get her to write a list for me out during the week, and I do those during a day. Now, what I get done, I do, of course, prioritize the important stuff gets done. The most important stuff gets done. The other stuff go to the bottom, but that's a day to do my missus task whilst I'm doing yard work and all that type of stuff. That way it's done. That way the next day or whatever day I've got set aside to do my projects, because you gotta remember, guys, you doing your projects is just as important as you doing other projects as well. You've got to look after yourself. And one of the biggest, I've always asked, particularly successful couples, successful relationships, and I know this is a little bit of a sidestep, but what makes their relationships or whatever work. And all these successful couples that I've ever come across make time for themselves to do their hobby. You look at little old grandma and grandpa that have been together for 70 odd years. Grandpa might have gone and played golf for 4 hours every Sunday. Grandma went to local knitting group and did or library club and or go and play bridge for 4 hours on a Saturday evening. They got that time apart to do their own separate things. Of course, they loved each other and they wanted to be each other together. And of course the husband did the tasks that needed to be done for the wife, the honeydew. But they got their own hobby time, their own separate time. So that's important too, guys. Taking that time for you, even if you're in a relationship, taking that time for you to do the things that you need to do for your health is a very important thing to do as well. And that's just my 10 cents. Of course, I'm no expert. I'm just putting what I've found and what I've got from talking to people. So just remember that.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to just past 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I say we move on to the final thoughts.
Well, before we do that, I just
Oh,
want to
you've
say,
got more.
No, I just want to say thanks for joining us. You can find Yamas on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram under Island Metal Forge. You can find Alex at Transcendental Artist Studios on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can find me, Adam, at Speargrass Forge on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Don't forget, if you have any suggestions for the Tool of the Week, Metal of the Week, or any other topic, you can leave them under the hashtag Metal of the Week in the YouTube community chat on our Discord. Links in the description. Or you can email us at islandmetalforge@gmail.com. If you have found us on Spotify or Anchor, or your favorite podcast provider, we generally upload every Wednesday, or you can join us live every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's currently 11:30 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time, but check that against your local time. And that's at Island Metal Forge YouTube channel. Finally, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you've joined us on YouTube, or hit that subscribe button and download if you've joined us on one of your podcast providers. We really do appreciate it, particularly whilst we're starting to grow. And now we can go with the final thoughts.
Yeah, I'll kick that off. I'd just like to say, I know I've been harping on this for a few months now. But hey, it's hot outside, and you can't underestimate the importance of staying hydrated. I spent most of the day yesterday outside, and some of you may know or historically been a fan of shall we say, adult beverages, and I've really kind of kicked that back or knocked that down just considerably over the last year or so. But so yesterday I was outside for most of the day. It was around, I think we averaged about 105, and I only had 4 adult beverages over the course of the entire day. And I drank water for the whole first half, and I didn't really realize that I'd gotten myself dehydrated. I came inside about 8 o'clock last night. And I mean, I couldn't move. I laid down on the couch, and I mean, like my legs cramped up, my arms cramped up. I was too tired to even ask somebody to go get me a bottle of water. And I lay there on the couch till midnight last night before I was able to get up and move. And I didn't realize until it was too late that I'd gotten myself in a bind. And so please be careful when you're out there in the heat, getting out to your shop, making something. Make sure you got water. Even when you're not thirsty, drink more water, because I'm telling you, that scared me last night. I just didn't know what to do other than just lay there and just try to take a nap. I couldn't move my arms, couldn't move my legs, and it's important. I mean, that stuff can come up on you real quick, and put you down. So stay hydrated, y'all. That's all I got.
Yep. For me, having just recovered from the plague, guys, take the time off to look after your health. That's whether it's mental health, physical health. Take that time to get better. I don't know if anyone's heard of long COVID, but I really didn't want to deal with that after feeling so crappy. So I make sure whether it's recovering from there was people talking about injuries and only just getting back into smithing in the chat. But guys, take that time to get better before you go into getting back into things. It's okay. Smithing's been around for 3,000-4,000 years. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. Your tools, unless you've got light-fingered people in your neighborhood, they're not likely to get up and walk away. So your hobby's going to be there, ready for you when you're feeling better. Take the time, get better, come back. We're all still here for you.
All right.
Yamis, what about you?
So with that big topic today, y'all understand why y'all ain't seen a lot of videos from me. But I'll take this opportunity to say thank y'all for listening and joining us, and thanks to the channel subscribers. Huge thank you to Sully and Adam. I could not do this without them. And a little side thing, and I don't really do this a lot, but yeah, I just realized I was not subscribed to Jack Pine's blacksmithing channel. I posted a link up earlier. If you could all go and subscribe to him, and we will let's raid one of his live streams when it comes up. Apparently he only gets a couple people watching. He's got 40 subscribers, well, about 41. And just kind of taking this community and spreading it out. Jack Pines comes in here all the time and says what's up and kind of hangs out. And let's go see what he's doing. I know he's got a Alex Steel anvil.
I was going to comment on that, but you got there first.
Yeah, let's see if that anvil's actually worth the $2,000 that it costs to buy one, or whatever the hell. Let's see if it can actually make anything. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's all Jack and not the anvil.
Absolutely, it's Jack.
But yeah, let's show some support.
I dropped in there and hit the subscribe button earlier when he mentioned shilling the pod on his live, and I was like, oh, you do lives? So I just, of course, being a moderator, I have the ability to do the whole click on the thing and go to channel and then hit subscribe. So that's nice having that ability, but the rest of y'all can't do that. So grab that link.
I'll put the link up
go
again.
Give them a visit. And,
all right. I'll put the link up again.
We'll craft a stream at this place one of these days.
But yeah, Jack, while we have you here, what is your usual live schedule? Is it kind of whenever you feel like it, or do you have a set day? But yeah, I mean, I subscribe to you, and I don't often have the time to join lives. I've even had to cut back on joining it into Christ-Centered Ironworks lives. Saturdays, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will see what I can do.
That's 11 here for you.
That's
noon
for me.
And for me, that's either it depends on a lot of the live streams are at weird times for me. It'll be first thing in the morning. So sometimes I can't make it. Sometimes I'm even though it's I love joining live streams, but even T-Roy, I haven't been able to catch a T-Roy live stream for a while. I haven't been able to catch a Christ-Centered Ironworks live stream for a while, simply because I'm asleep or I'm, it's in the middle of my morning and I'm already halfway through doing something. I'm out, at the shops or something so I don't get a chance to sit down and actually pay attention to them. But yeah. So and like Paul just said, 2 a.m. in the morning, so that'll be like 12 o'clock, 1:30 for me. So if I'm up, particularly on my changeover weeks, that's great. So I try and make live streams all the time. So, but yeah, sometimes it's just a matter of figuring it out. But Jack, at the end of the day, we'll try.
Yeah.
We'll pop in at some stage and all have a look. Why not? I'm willing to give anyone a go.
So yeah, it's like spread the word, guys, and we'll bring it up again in the evening show, whether it's me or Sully. I still have a headache. It is still pouring rain, so I'm gonna give it a few hours and we'll go from there. But we'll bring it up again there. Just trying to boost somebody. Like I said, I don't do it a lot because the last 2 channels that I boosted, the last 2 Smiths that I boosted, really, really kind of went off the rails and let me down. But yeah, with that, I can't thank you guys enough. Both the channel members, the super chatters, the community for joining us. Huge, heartfelt, big hugs, virtual hugs to Adam and Sully here for helping this show become more than just my face talking and reading the chat. So, y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. Have a wonderful day. Be safe. Be creative. Or take a break if you want. We will chat with you all later. Peace.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. See you this evening.